Man of Steel. That's our next one here, and I definitely top three in the DCEU. I think it's definitely a good movie.
I think it's definitely my top one so far.
Really, top one? Yeah. I said I really like it, and so yeah, definitely a good one. But yeah, start us off.
Okay, so this one starts off on Krypton.
Mm-hmm.
It's the planet's not doing too hot. Its energy reserves are going down. It's collapsing in on itself. Basically, they used all the resources up too much over the past couple 100,000 years.
Yeah.
So Superman's dad, he's trying to figure out how do we get the Kryptonians? How do we get the Kryptonians to keep on living? How do we make their bloodline go on further? So he asked for their codex, which has everyone's DNA like in the past and the future, or is it just everyone up until this point?
Damn, I knew you were going to ask me this, and I do not know. I just know it's just they have to be coded with it before they can like go out into.
I wonder if it's like an evolving thing too, like.
Well, I mean, I don't know, because it might be past and future, because I mean, it is just an old skull, and I want to say
it might just be past.
I want to say this, for it being an old skull, it's very strong because
if it's like a couple 100,000 years old, like
you would think, but Jor-El, Superman's father, he just throws this thing around on the ground. So like after he gets it, he just throws it on the ground, like on his way up to like get out of the water. He just throws that. He just chunks that thing on the ground. I'm just like, bro, that is your whole civilization's code right there.
The most valuable thing to you right now, besides your son, but all of what you and your civilization have been working for is in that skull.
For real.
So he's talking to the council. He's trying to get that codex so he can, send it off to a distant planet so that, their civilization can keep on going. In the middle of him requesting this, their war general, General Zod, shows up and immediately shoots the head woman in charge.
She's like, on whose authority? Mine. Bah!
Just space AK right to the face. And he says, we're going to be making a new council now.
Yeah, 100%.
So that's happening. Jor-El,
he gets the codex. He leaves because he tells Zod he doesn't agree. He doesn't agree with his point of view of how he's handling it. Because I think Zod, I forget, what does Zod want to do? Because I forget what is his purpose. Because I know it's like a genocide on the Earth and stuff. Like he's gonna take Earth that, but I forget how he thinks he's gonna save the planet before it blows up.
I don't even remember how he's gonna.
I forget what he tells him, because he tells him something. He's like, "No, we can't." And then Jor-El's like, "No,"
because he wants to stay on Krypton.
Yeah, I think he wants to.
He thinks it'll keep going.
Well, no, because he knows because him and Jor-El, because remember that's what he tells Superman was the only thing they ever agreed on was that Krypton was dying. So I totally forget what he wants to do, but yeah.
He definitely wants to keep the whole natural selection thing going. Like he wants everyone that's born. He doesn't want any natural births. He wants all of them to have a specific role.
Yeah.
Everyone's purpose made. So he wants to get the codex, but Jor-El escapes. He goes and he gets it. During while this is happening, there's like an all-out war happening. Like he's got spaceships shooting council members. He ends up like failing. Jor-El implants the codex into Superman. Into what was his name? Cal.
Yeah, Cal.
Kal-El. He puts it in the baby, and then puts the baby in a spaceship, and then launches the spaceship up.
And the baby goes first. The only question I have here is because they break in on like the whole big chancellor type of people, the whole big people. They get in there, blast the one lady, and then they all take them. But then they shoot over to Jor-El's to get the codex, and then did they just like not put them in a prison cell, or they just didn't do nothing with them? Because then immediately after they get captured by the same people.
Yeah, they get outnumbered. Like, what was the whole point of the coup if, like, you don't even remotely have enough people to take over.
Yeah, exactly. So
Because they get put in their little
the Cairo, is it Cairo? Cryogenic? I think it's like cryogenic something.
Cryogenic stasis, whatever. They get like wrapped up in like some ice sphere.
Yeah.
And they get sent to prison for 300 cycles.
Which I don't understand. The planet is dying. Just throw them in a cell somewhere and just let them, I mean, maybe you think there's a chance they can escape before the planet blows up. So you're just like, but I mean, they escape anyways. They do, like, they swip out the thing in the ship to make it a hyperdrive, and they still be able to get out. But I'm getting ahead of myself. But that's the only thing I had. But yeah. So then
Zod actually kills Jor-El.
Yeah.
Jor-El puts his like consciousness into like he puts in the little chip.
Yep.
That goes with Superman's spaceship. Jor-El kills him, or Zod kills Jor-El. And then, like, right as the spaceship's leaving, then he gets put into the cryostasis stuff. He gets put into prison. And then...
that's when you get the famous, I will find him. This famous scene.
After that, we go to Superman.
Oh, Superman, he's on the boat. Superman is the definition of a grinder. He's a hustler. He's got to get that bag.
He's the hardest working superhero out there. Like he is finding a different job every couple weeks.
Constantly. I mean, it's never an issue with him to find a next job. I mean, he's already on the next one just like that.
First, they show him on he's on his deadliest catch job. He's on this boat in the middle of the ocean, setting out traps for crabs, I guess, and he actually gets saved. I mean, he wasn't gonna get hurt, but
yeah.
He gets saved by one of his crew members. They push him out the way of a crab trap that's about to fall on his head, and then they get word that an oil rig's on fire.
Yep.
So he goes. They're like, Greenhorn, where's where's my binoculars? I need to look at the oil rig. But Greenhorn is saving the people.
Greenhorn's out there saving lives. So yeah, they shoot over to the oil rig. You see it's all on fire. Then Superman busts over the door in the oil rig, gets all the people out of there, but it's about to collapse. So he's like, I gotta do superhero things. He holds the thing up while they fly away, and then the thing just fucking just crashes on him.
No shirt on.
No shirt. Classic no shirt. Well, I mean, I guess because it's burnt, so it was fire. I mean, he was all on fire and everything. But I mean, even he kept his pants on though. So it's like, do we need to take the shirt off? You know what I'm saying?
Nah, he knew the shirt was gonna restrict him, so he threw the shirt off. So
so then the thing crashes down. He's on the water. Then we get a flashback of him, kind of his senses freaking out in school. The senses were kind of like, going haywire. So he runs into, I guess, the janitor's closet or just a closet. I don't know.
Yeah, he just runs in a closet, locks the door, because he's hearing every sound that's around him. He can see through walls. He can see through people's fucking skin.
Yeah.
Like he's like, the stimuli is like over the roof with what he's able to see. So he can't really can't really take it all in without panicking. So.
But so then the mom comes in. She's just like, just hear my voice, block everything else out.
Only thing that calms him down is his parents, really.
And now let's talk about what's his name? I even forget his name. What is the dad's name? Clark. No, it's not Clark. I don't know.
Jonathan.
Yeah, Jonathan Kent. Yeah, John Kent. Yeah, Jonathan. So his dad. I really don't know how his way of thinking sometimes really aggravates me.
Morally gray.
Yeah, it's just like he's in the area because then they had that flashback of the kids in the bus and they're driving down this bus, the tire pops on the bus and it takes a side off the bridge, goes left, it drives right off the bridge, goes into the water, it goes right into the river, it's sinking, and Superman, Kal-El's like, okay, I gotta get out and save these people, and then plus he had his baby mama on there, he was just like,
she was nice to him.
Yeah, this is what I forgot. This is where he's been called fat ass, ass face. That's what it is. Because he's talking to this girl's like, hey Clark, and then this guy's like, why are you talking to ass face or something like that? And then she's just like, leave him alone. He's like, is this your boyfriend? Blah. what are you doing, bro? Like, you have no room. Like, I don't want to be that dude, but you have no room to be talking right now. But
he's just jealous.
yeah, and so he's just like, so then he's like, oh, okay, I gotta go out. So after that, the bus crashes, goes into the river. Then he's like, okay, what should I do? Gets out, pulls the bus out, saves them, and everyone sees it on the bus. His baby mama sees it. He even saves the bully. The bully got thrown out the bus, and he pulls the bully back on the side of the bus. So then he sees it.
All the kids go and snitch on him afterwards. They're like,
for real.
we know your son did this. Like
he did a bad thing. Like everyone makes it seem like he did something really bad. Like the mom's just like, this isn't the first time he's done something like this, and everyone's seen it. It's just like, your kid is alive. What are you doing? Why are you like hassling this, bro? Like, he did what he had to do. Leave it alone. But no, they're just like getting on his ass for doing a good thing, and I'm just like, and then this is the part which back then I really did. I was like, damn. I was like, that's cold, but maybe truthful. But now like I've seen it multiple times here throughout the years. I'm like, I just don't know if I agree with you on this now that I think about it, because he's like, should I just let him die? And then he's just like, his dad's like, maybe, and I'm just like,
maybe.
Whoa! I'm
just
like,
let a bus full of kids die.
Yeah,
maybe that's what you got to do, because people will get scared if you save them.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, I'm like, I don't know about that. And then he goes, and then what's the next thing he does? I guess the next one is the tornado one. That's the next flashback.
Well, he like his dad shows him like the spaceship.
Oh yeah, that's right. They go to the spaceship. Yeah, they go.
He like explains where he came from.
And they go. So he goes to the spaceship, and he's just like, yeah. He's like, this is what we found you in. And he's like, can I just go back? And he's like, it's just too much pressure. And he's like, I just want to go back to pretending I'm your son. And he's like, you are my son.
Well, what I don't understand is his dad is so like hard set on like keeping everything a secret, but like Superman had like a little keychain with him, and he's like, he's like, you had this on the spaceship. I already sent it off to Kansas State to analyze it, and apparently the element's not even on the periodic table. Like, you don't think that would raise some red flags? Like, how would you as a farmer fucking get this shit? Like.
100%.
It's crafted too. It's got a fucking S on it. It's like, this isn't a chunk of a meteor. This looks like an alien fucking item.
Yeah.
You're trying to keep shit secret, and you're sending that off to colleges. Like.
So he does that. That's a flashback, and then we cut back to my boy Superman. He gets out of the water, shirtless. Physique is crazy. He looked like he just got done pumping some iron. Like that. He's like and so
he is the Man of Steel.
And so he goes, he hops on his family, which, by the way, terrible way to dry your clothes out in the pouring rain or just in the cold weather. I mean,
right next to the ocean.
Yeah, even if it wasn't raining, I mean, it looked like it was raining. Like it was maybe like a light drizzle. Yeah, like a light drizzle of rain, and they just had they had their clothes out there drying. I'm like, what? And so anyway, Superman does the the noble thing and steals a pair of clothes.
Yeah.
What Superman does. And then we find him on his next job, which is being he's a servant, I guess a bus boy, I guess.
Yeah, he's like a bus boy or server at some kind of diner.
Yeah.
And like he sees this redneck trucker like hitting on this one girl, but he's like being rude to her.
He's grabbing on her ass and shit. Yeah, and he's just like, So then my boy Superman's like, I'm gonna shut this down. So then he's going, because he's listening on to the army people talk about, they found something in the Arctic or whatever, so they're gonna go over there. But then his superhero instinct kicked in. And he's like, oh shit, someone's doing what they're not supposed to be doing. So then he's just like, so he heads over there. The dude, I don't like. The dude looks at Superman and just thinks he can take him on, and I don't know.
He has to like look up at him.
Yeah, he's got to look up at him. I just don't know if that's arrogant or respectable, because I was just, I was like, damn, I respect this guy, because you are looking up at this guy, and you're not even the same build at all.
And he punches him too.
He tries to push him. He doesn't move.
Yeah,
he just goes. Boosh.
And then he continues on with
he continues messing with them.
Throws beer in his face, throws a fucking beer can at the back of his head.
Yeah. And then Superman does Superman thing and fucks up his truck. So he's just like...
He somehow, without anybody seeing, picks up an 18-wheeler and impales it on a power line.
With a bunch of logs through it and everything. I was just like, wow. So then he takes off... right back to his, but he does not let that stop him. Goes right back to the hustling. Goes find another job in the Arctic cargo section. Immediately gets that.
How does he have relevant experience to be able to get these jobs.
That's what I'm saying. That is what I'm saying. Because he's got. I don't know. Does he? Maybe he can. Maybe he can. He put that he does. He has done these jobs before. But then also, he can't really tell him that. Well, I guess he does. Because that's how Lois Lane tracks him down. Because then she keeps going all the way back. Yeah. So I guess he does tell him what kind of jobs he has done before. But
he's always putting like false names.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like a false name. So how do you know? You know what I mean?
He's just lying on the application, I guess.
But so then he goes to the Arctic cargo. This is where we meet the famous Lois Lane, Amy Adams, who does she does a good job as Lois Lane. I like her Lois Lane. I don't mind her, you know. So yeah, she comes in here, starts measuring what she say? Oh, measuring dicks, because like the army has a problem with her being in there. So she's like, can we start measuring dicks and let's get on with it? I'm like, damn, that's Lois Lane for sure.
Yeah, she was afraid they were gonna like cover something up because like they apparently found some kind of alien artifact.
Yeah.
They think they found one, so she shows up a day early so they couldn't cover anything up, and then they obviously don't like her being there. So.
And so then she shows up, and then they take her to her little spot, and they show her, you know, where she's sleeping, whatever. And he goes, and don't try to go out there at night because it gets
-40.
-40. It gets -40. So don't try to go outside at night. Immediately cuts to the next scene. She's outside at night taking pictures, and I'm like, Lois, what are you doing?
She's outside taking pictures, and then she somehow gets a picture of Superman like climbing a mountain.
Yeah, he just walking the mountain.
So her bright idea, let me go walk on the mountain too. Let me not tell anybody. Let me go by myself.
Yeah.
No climbing equipment, no backpack, no nothing.
She's lucky it didn't turn to 127 hours on her. She was going to be trapped and have to like cut off her own hand or something like that. Because Jesus, she's lucky. But yeah, she gets the bright idea to go mountain climbing. And at night, wherever they're at, could be -40. Maybe it's not. Clearly it's not, because he said if it's -40, she's probably going to die. So she goes up there. She follows Superman's exact footsteps. It does exactly what Superman does. And then Superman finds his little spaceship or whatever. Or one of the old spaceships that Krypton used as
one of the colony ships that they sent out.
Yeah.
He finds it, and he finds like a little terminal to put his little chip thing that his dad sent off.
Yep.
Puts the chip in there, and then it like prevents this robot from attacking him. And then he walks off into the inner part of the ship. Lois walks in behind him.
Yeah.
She takes a picture of the robot. That apparently sends the robot over the edge. And it starts like shooting her with some kind of laser energy.
Mm-hmm.
And then Superman comes to the rescue, destroys the robot,
crunches that thing,
crunches it like a can. And then he like
laser beams Lois. He's just like, he's got to cauterize the room, so he's like with laser eyes.
That's their first interaction.
And then let's see. Oh yeah, then he takes the ship. The ship flies off. I don't think because I'm pretty sure he doesn't know how to fly. But I think the ship just takes off from the father being like coded into the ship.
Yeah, his dad's consciousness is on the ship, and he can like be like in material form.
Yeah.
So he can like see his dad. He could talk to him. So
then the ship flies away. Lois stands there. So then Lois is trying to like, for some reason, Lois wants to get his story out there for what, I guess, it's to make it, iPod, aliens on Earth or whatever, stuff like that. But then, so she tried to track him down. And then, while she's doing that, Kal-El is learning more about his history from his dad on the ship, because the ship took it somewhere else. They're on the edge of the Earth somewhere. And he's getting lessons from his dad, where he came from, what his dad wanted to do with him or whatever with the Kodaks. And then he finds his fucking badass Superman suit.
Yeah, he finds his custom made suit with the red cape, and his dad tells him like, "You're super powerful. Like the Earth's atmosphere is like," and this is important to the story later. The Earth's atmosphere, your body will just like absorb everything, and you'll become like super powerful. So
I wonder, maybe that's why they couldn't fly on their planet.
Yeah, maybe it just didn't have all the right stuff. Because, like, it's something about, like, the air, and then, like, the sun is hotter on Earth's solar system than their solar system.
Yeah.
So, maybe that's why
because I was wondering.
They were walking everywhere on Krypton.
I was like, man, why are they not flying? But, I mean, maybe they're just like, man, we're sick of flying. Like, this shit's boring. Like, I just want to...
Yeah, they'll just have the lizard bird do it for them.
And then, so he's getting thrown... And then this is the thing that made it ticks me off a little bit is that in almost every superhero movie when they get their superpowers, they never really like in Superman's strength. In Superman's spot, he's really really strong and stuff. Like he can lift, hold stuff up that is really crazy that no normal person should do. But he never thought to himself, "Hey, maybe I can fly.
Maybe I can fly. I can swim oceans. I can lift up oil rigs. I can pick up 18-wheelers.
Exactly, because he gets
flying. Nah, it's too far.
He gets to the oil rig crazy fast from the boat because he doesn't even go with the boat. He leaves from the boat.
He just swims like a dolphin.
So he just swims, and you're just like, what? You never thought about flying? And so yeah, so then I guess he gets
because he doesn't gain anything when getting to the ship. He's just like, oh, I guess I can fly. Then starts flying.
Yeah, I don't even think his dad tells him he can fly. He's just like you're just like really powerful.
You have to test your limits.
Test your limits, yeah. He's to test your limits. So then he just goes, you know what? I'm gonna see how I can fly. That eventually works. Then he's flying around. It takes a little tumble there and there, but he gets it around. And then that's when we go back to fucking Lois Lane. She's tracking him down. She gets back to she comes to Smallville and she finds his mom or whatever. And then they go to the graveyard and he's like, and then you just hear a whoosh. She's like, I want your story to come out. And he's like, well, what if I don't want my story to come out? And she's like, why not? And he's like, people fear what they don't understand. And that's what his dad told him. And this is where the most out-of-pocket thing that his dad does is that they're driving, they're having an argument. There's another flashback. And they're driving, they're having an argument. And he's just like, he's like, you're not even my real dad. I don't know why I'm listening to you. And so then, but right before he's going to apologize or whatever, tornado comes. He's like, oh, get your mom, take her to the overpass.
Everybody get out of the car.
And yeah, he's like, everyone get out of the car, and he's just like, go take your mom to the overpass. He's like, I'm gonna help these people. But why? Let Superman, let Cal do what he's got to do. He doesn't gotta fly. He doesn't even know he can fly. So he's just gonna let people in. You go to the overpass with your wife, but then they forget about the dog who's sitting right next to Martha.
He goes back for the dog.
Yeah. So then he's just like, and then he's gotta help this lady out first. She's like, help me, my kid is. She's like, help me, she's stuck. Immediately, the first thing he does is the door's already open. He pushes the mom out the way, puts his two arms in there, picks her up, and gives her to his mom. I'm like, how was she stuck? At what point was she stuck?
And then, I want to bet that's like Jenny's mom.
Oh, bro, we'll get to Jenny in a minute. I don't know if she's Jenny.
Got to be somehow related to Jenny.
Help me. And so then the dad's about to make his way back to the overpass, but then Martha's like, oh, the dog. And Clark is like, don't worry, I'll go get the dog real quick. And then Jonathan's like, no, I'm going to get him. I
got this.
Why? Why are you being so hard-headed right now? So then he goes, he tries to get the dog out, but then Tornado throws a car on top of their station wagon or whatever. And so then he gets stuck.
Yeah, his legs pinned in the door.
Yeah, so he opens the door, gets the dog out. The dog runs to the overpass, and then he's stuck. So then he eventually gets out. And right before, there's plenty of time, Clark looks at him. He's like, I can save you. He's like, I'm going to come save you. And then Jonathan's like,
I'm good. Winks at him.
I'm like, what? Why? I'm like, this is the whole point of Superman is to save people, especially the people closest to him. And you're like, not yet. They're not ready for you. Just like, let him save you, bro. Like, eventually he's got to save people. Like, eventually, someone like Zod eventually was going to show up maybe, and he was going to have to stop him. Like, what are we doing? But, so that happened. That's a flashback. And then, Lois is like, okay, I'll retract it. And then, because she wanted to run the story, but then the people at the Alien Planet were like, no, Morbius. Or not Morbius. I don't know why. Morpheus.
Yeah, Morpheus.
Yeah, Morpheus is like, he's like, no, we're not going to run it. And then she leaves, and then she comes back. She's like, you know what? After she's sure what Clark had to say about her dad, or his dad, she goes, oh, you know what? I'm not going to run it. My leads went cold or whatever. And so
she gave the story to like a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah. And so she's like, yeah, but I'm not even gonna pick it up no more. I'm leaving it. And he's like, okay, good, because if people read about this and thought it was real, they'd freak out. And so then we go to, and then right as soon after that, this is where we get our first shot of Jenny. Is Lois is working at the toner, and she's just like, and Lois is like, where's the toner? And Jenny's like,
I don't know.
I don't know, but something's going on TV. And so then they go to TV. Zod's showing them. He's getting a transmission to everybody on Earth that you're not alone. He says it like maybe like 10, 15 times. And then
and in different languages all across the world.
So everyone knows that they are not alone. And then he makes the issues for, he's like, hey, Superman's among, he doesn't say Superman, he just knows like someone is among you. And he's being like very like ambiguous for a little bit, but then at the very end he's like, this is messages for you, Kal-El. Like, why not just say Kal? I mean, why not just say Kal throughout the whole thing? But anyways, gives him a message. He's like, come on, or Earth is gonna get destroyed in like we're gonna attack Earth in 24 hours or whatever. And so then Superman has this fucking dilemma. He's like, should I do it? Should I not? Which I mean, I see his dilemma. He's like, because you can't really trust Zod because you don't know what
he's just gonna do whatever he wanted to do anyway.
Exactly. And so then he goes to the father and he's just like, what should I do? And he's just, and then like
the father meaning a priest.
Yeah. He goes to the priest and he's just like, and every time I watch this scene, I never know if the priest is being genuine or is he just wants him off the planet. I never tell him this scene because I can't tell if the priest is trying to be nice to Superman and be like, hey, take a leap of faith and then see what happens afterwards, or he's just kind of just telling them what Superman. Because after that, before that, Superman's like, Zod can't be trusted, and then he leaves. He's getting up to leave because he doesn't know. And then right before he leaves, the priest is like, it's a leap. It takes a leap of faith. The trust part comes after. So I never know if he's being genuine in that scene or not. But yeah, so that's that scene. So then the next scene or whatever.
Lois is picked up by the FBI.
Yeah, Lois
tries to outrun the FBI.
tries to outrun the
utter failure.
They're gonna try to get her for treason. I think it blows my mind. Why?
Off of like a conspiracy theorist story that she gave to him.
Yeah, and so she's so they're like, oh, treason, and so then so then they pick her up, and then Superman is like meets with the military, whatever, and he's like, I know, he goes, I'll turn myself in or whatever. I just want to talk to Lois. And they're like, how do you know she's here? And he's like, trust me, I know whatever. So then they go, and he talks to Lois or whatever. They talk about the S on his chest for a little bit, and then
stands for hope. He is Hope Man.
And then that's when he's like, he shows everyone like he can see through see-through vision or whatever because he can see through the double glass.
Yeah, like they're in like an interrogation room and he's like, I know exactly who's talking to me. I know what's in your pockets. Like,
yeah, and he's like, yeah, he's also got I forget what the food item he's got in his pocket or whatever. But he tells them that
Mentos or something.
Yeah,
gum.
And then he's like, and then he let him handcuff him because he's just like, if it makes him feel safe. But then immediately he breaks him, like maybe like 10 minutes afterwards.
Like, let's put all of our cards on the table. Snap.
And so then they turn him over to General Zod because that's what he wants. He's like, I just want to talk to. He's like, I'm gonna get General Zod so he doesn't bother you. And so then General Zod comes. Well, not General Zod. Oh man, I forgot his second in command's name. It starts with an F.
I don't even remember.
But,
some Kryptonian name.
Yeah. And,
the only normal Kryptonian name was Laura, his mom.
for real, I think she got the luck of the draw, which is Laura. But I forget what his second in command's name is. But she comes and picks him up. But then they also want Lois, so they pick up Lois. And so then they fly off, and then they're trying to. And then Zod and Superman have a really cool moment in like this. I guess like dream state, I think it is. I can't really tell.
Yeah, he's like he goes back on the ship and he doesn't have Earth's atmosphere in there, so he has Krypton's atmosphere, which he's not used to anymore. So he goes into like a hallucinating state. He gets real weak. He starts bleeding from his nose. He starts hallucinating. He's having a dream where he's back on the farm, but Zod's also there, and Zod's like explaining, we have to reshape the Earth, and if we got to kill humans to do it, that's what I'm gonna do. So.
Yeah, and so then he's like, Superman's just standing on all of these skulls, and then he's like sinking into the skulls, and he wakes up, and he's like, and then they're drawing his blood too, because he's weak, so the needle can get into him. And then while this is going on, Lois is getting saved because when they go on the ship, Superman gave Lois the little I don't know what you would call it, the little plug-in thing. She just plugs it into the plugger, and then Superman's dad's there, Jor-El, and he's helping her. Yeah,
he takes control of the ship.
Yeah,
he can open and close doors and stuff like that. I think he also changed the atmosphere back to Earth.
Yeah,
so Superman gets his strength back.
Yeah, and so then he gets his strength back. He also leads Lois kind of to her demise. because he's just like, move your head to the left. She moves, and like this lady like punches a hole into the ship, so it's already gonna be fucked.
Then he launches it, like doesn't say, "Hey, get out, go get another one." He just launches it.
Launches the ship, and then I think I think the lady also takes the gun from Lois and shoots at the ship too. I don't know if that does anything to it, but
shoots a hole in the top of it.
Yeah,
like,
and so
it's like on fire.
So now it's setting the thing on fire, so it's falling down, and then Jor-El finds Superman. He's like, hit that panel, hits the panel. He sees fucking Lois like slow, like descending in a fireball down to Earth, and he's like talking to her. He's like, you could save her. You could save them all, Cal. And he's like talking to him because Superman thinks that because Zod was like, your father gave you the Codex so we could start over. Because because Zod's basically telling him, your dad wanted you to come here, kill all these people so Krypton can live again. But that's not really what he wanted. So he's telling Superman that. But why he's telling Superman that, Lois is in a ball of fire going to Earth. So then he's just like, okay, well, I guess he's like, you can save them all. So he flies back, saves Lois. And then that's when we get our cool little. And then Zod goes to. Zod's not on the ship anymore, though. Him and all of his other all of the minions go to Kansas, where the mom is. They find Martha. They're looking for the Codex because they think the Codex is still in the ship. They don't know it's in him just yet. And then it's not there because they don't know that. So then they're about to take. So Zod's about to take his anger out on the mom. Superman shows up.
Tackles his ass.
Probably the best action scene so far from what we've seen out of these movies. The little Smallville fight in 7-Eleven.
Grabs him, starts punching the shit out of him, but then like Zod, he like fights back.
Yeah, he fights back a little bit.
What I don't really understand though. Okay, so Superman breathes in Kryptonian air. He gets weak. He starts bleeding from his face immediately.
Yeah.
Zod's been breathing in this Kryptonian air, the whole time.
Yep.
But yet he's still strong. But whenever Zod, like, his face mask gets broken, he starts, getting Superman's powers. Of course, it's all at once, so he's not used to it.
Yeah.
But how come he's not weak while he's still breathing the Kryptonian air?
Well, he gets a little. He doesn't get as bad as Superman because he doesn't. But he does get a little hazy. Like he's losing some of his vision. Some of his vision's not all there. He's kind of freaking out a little bit, but not as bad as like Superman. Literally just drops to the floor and starts coughing up blood. They don't do that. For some, they just get a little hazy and their eyes start flickering because all their senses. They're getting everyone screaming and stuff. So then they take him back to the ship.
What I'm saying is like, okay, let's say, because the whole time. Zod has
the breather on, yeah.
He has a breather on, and he's breathing in the Kryptonian air.
Yeah.
But yet he still has all of, like, not all of Superman's powers, but he can still, like, punch like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
I mean, he can't fly, he can't use the laser vision.
No.
He's still strong as shit. Maybe that's just Kryptonians in general. They're just super tough.
Yeah. Oh, so you're saying, like, how come Superman wasn't that strong when he was...
Yeah, he gets super weak.
I get what you're saying.
But...
They don't get that weak. Yeah, maybe that is just Kryptonian air, I guess, maybe. But I don't know. I feel like...
I don't know. Maybe they've just gotten used to it. And
yeah, I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah, because they do say, we have to wait for Superman to get used to it.
He's got to run his course,
so, yeah, that's probably just what it is.
And so they big action fight scene. Army shows up. They think they can do something to these guys for some reason.
Which they never can.
They never can. And for some reason, they can. So in this one, they do that. They send the jets in. Jets get fucked up. Chopper, the main one of the colonels Chopper gets flown down, and then he's about to die to one of the second in command to Zod, and then
Superman like saves him, catches him midair.
Yeah, Superman saves him, throws her in midair, and then the second in command, the other monster dude, I think they get up and leave. They get in the spaceship, they leave out of there, and then everyone's like, "Woo, Superman's on our side." After they just got done shooting him in the head like 50 times with every single bullet they had. And then
that's whenever they like devise a plan. They're like the spaceship that Superman came here as a baby.
Yeah.
It's got like the hyperdrive system and
the Phantom Zone. Yeah.
If they crash it into their Phantom Zone thing, it'll create a black hole and suck all of them in there.
Yep.
So they have that plan, and then they're like, that's whenever Zod decides to use the planet constructor,
the
machine.
world engine.
Yeah, the world engine, and it starts like pummeling the area around it. It's like crushing everything around it, trying to reshape the world to be like Krypton.
Yeah.
So they've got the main spaceship to worry about, and they got the world engine to worry about.
Well, they need to take out the world engine first.
Yeah.
And then they get the world engine. They do that.
Take out the spaceship.
But yeah, so that's that. I really this part of the movie, for some reason I remember it being longer, because I remember watching it for a while and being like, man, this scene just really takes me out of this movie. Like it just kind of drags on for a little bit. Not that bad.
No,
when I watched it this time,
not terrible.
It wasn't terrible. It still drags it on a little bit. It's still kind of like, okay, let's wrap it up.
Superman's sitting in the beam, the beam that the world engine's shooting out.
Yeah.
He's sitting right at the base of it, and he's like powering up to go and bust through the bottom of it.
About to go Super Saiyan, and so yeah, he does that. But without that scene, though, we don't get the MVP of the movie. We do not get Jenny, because while the World Destroyer and the Indian Ocean's doing its thing with Superman, they have another one in Metropolis itself.
Yeah.
And it just, it's blowing it. It's picking stuff off the ground and throwing it right back, smushing it.
Crumbling buildings, and of course, Jenny's just watching buildings get crumbled. She's like,
Jenny walks out of her building, walks out the Daily Planet, walks it out, sees this building fall, fixing to fall on top of them, and just stares at it. And I'm like, no, Jenny, what are you doing? Why are you doing?
Run any other direction.
And so then my boy Morbius has got fucking Morpheus. Oh my god, Morbius grabs her and he's like, "Come on!" And so then they're like, "Oh no, we're not gonna make it. So we gotta go to the side." Well, then after all that explosion happened, can you guess who gets trapped?
It's Jenny.
It's Jenny, and she's like,
she's trapped in rubble, like the most useless woman in this movie.
And she's just like, ah. And so then she's like, help, don't leave me. And Morpheus is like, don't worry.
We're definitely not going to leave you. I was thinking about it, but I guess I won't.
And so then she's like, so then they're sitting here and they're trying to like lift up the rubble with like a stop sign or something.
Yeah, they're trying to like lever it open.
Yeah, and it's just not working. And so then he just grabs her hand and is just like, yeah, we're dead. And then so...
this is the end.
But,
glad I'm dying with you.
But Superman stopped his World Destroyer, so then they're finally able to crash. But before they crash, they forgot to turn the ship that Superman was in, so the little plugger thing wasn't going in.
It's not going in.
Yeah, and so so the doctor turns it, puts it in, and then stabs it in there, and then it sends off like a little shock wave, and then blast no, it doesn't blast Lois, it just blasts him around, but blasts Lois towards the almost out of the plane. And then
that's whenever the second in command shows up on the plane.
Yeah, well, Zod and her show up on their big spaceship, and they're about to shoot the aircraft down. But Superman comes in.
He busts right through it.
Yeah, and so he busts right through it, and he's just like, if you blow it up, Krypton dies or whatever. And he's like, Krypton had its chance. And so then he blows it. He does a little laser beam, crashes the ship, and the second in command goes into the aircraft with Lois Lane and the Colonel. And so she's trying to kill the Colonel because her and the Colonel got a little thing going on. And then, he's like, every death is a good death is its own world or whatever. And then he crashes the aircraft into the thing, but that takes Lois out the plane. Lois is flying, and Superman is like, hears her scream. I'll tell you what, Lois is so lucky because all she has to do is scream, and Superman is there.
For real,
he is just there.
He can always know where she's at all times.
100%.
He drops whatever he's doing to pick her up.
So he goes, he picks up Lois, and then they fall down. They finally kiss, and then Zod realizes all of his people are dead. So now his only one goal right now is to kill Superman and to kill all the humans, and so Superman can suffer. They get in this big old action sequence fight, and then at the end of the fight, they crash into, I guess, a train station. I think a little train thing, and then very debatable. Everyone has a little take on this. Why the family just does not run away? They have plenty of options just to run away. They don't have to.
They just want to cower.
Yeah,
the laser beams right next.
The
to
dad
them.
grabs his kid and just let's stand in this one little corner where they
laser beam right next to us.
And it's you could easily ran before he even started or anything. But eventually, Zod's given Superman the ultimatum. He's like, I'm not gonna stop.
I'm never gonna stop.
Yeah, I'm never gonna stop doing this. So you got to kill me, or I'm gonna kill these people, and we're gonna keep going. So he snaps his neck, screams. Lois gives him a hug, but then it turns out after that the United States of America people, the Americans are still not trusting of Superman.
Yeah, they're sending out drones to try and find out where he sleeps at night.
Yeah, and he's just like, don't do that. And then the little lady captain's like smiling, and then like, I guess what is he?
General.
A general, yeah, he's general. He's like, what are you smiling at? She goes, well, I think he's pretty hot.
Yep.
And then
that's where it leaves off.
that's Man of Steel. So yeah, overall, I really like this movie. This is probably one of my favorites. Definitely top 3. I say top 3, definitely top 2. I can't decide 1 or 2, but and I love the villain. Zod is just hands down the best villain in this whole DCEU so far, and I think even afterwards too. So,
of course, Superman, obviously one of the strongest protagonists too.
100%.
You're perfectly safe as long as you live in Metropolis or Kansas. You live in China or any of these other countries, Russia. Too bad. He ain't going there. He ain't going that far. He can be there in a couple seconds. He can fly there in a couple seconds. He ain't gonna though.
And I still love that they went with the glasses just to cover up his identity.
Oh yeah, he shows up back at
his
next job.
Because Jenny, Perry, and the other dude saw him. Like they all saw him kiss Lois Lane. He shows up with glasses on.
No facial hair, no nothing.
Yeah,
just glasses.
Just glasses.
And combs his hair.
And they're like, no way, that's Superman. And so they
definitely no. That's Clark Kent.
That's Clark Kent from Kansas. He's not Superman. Superman is not from Kansas. And so, but yeah, so that's pretty much how it ends. So that's Man of Steel. So overall, I really like it. I think Henry Cavill is a really good Superman. Lois Lane, Amy Adams, good. And I think really Zod's just a show for me. I think Zod's probably the best in the movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's Man of Steel. So.
All right. And what's next?
Fuck with it. Oh, Batman vs Superman.
Batman vs
Ultimate
Superman.
Edition.
All right. Well, we see you then.